Okay, guys, so I'm still going, and I just had the situation where I'm trying to get a raise. I was denied a raise. And in addition to being denied a raise, I'm not able to do the work that I was hoping to do, which was to write a grant for this organization to help this organization get funded. And they didn't want to do that. So eventually, I had to make some decisions about the move that I was going to make. And I made a decision that it was in my best interest at the time to go full-fledged into my schooling, and that's exactly what I did. Now, when I went full-fledged into my schooling, I had some people that came to me like, "Hey, why are you leaving this position? Why are you leaving this leadership role that you're in here with our organization?" You know, one lady I never forget, and she was so sweet. She's a sweet lady, well-intentioned as well. She said, "Well, I have a relative. I forgot what she said. I don't know what family member that was doing grant writing. Why are you doing that?" you know, and I had to let her know. I said, "Well, this is what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing," and I really understand. She was, in a really sweet way, just expressing that they were going to miss what I was bringing to the table. But I had to make a move. And sometimes in life, you have to keep on trekking. You got to keep on rolling because life is calling and time is limited. And you got to do what you feel like you're supposed to be doing. And that's what I did. I made the move, started doing schooling full time, but needed to bring in some additional income to supplement and take care of my responsibilities. And in doing so, I needed to get another job. So student loans were carrying me for a while, but I needed a job, okay? So here's what happened. Now I'm looking for work, okay? And I have one master's, finishing up on a second one. And so I started going on job interviews. When I tell you, I went after job interview, and was not having any luck at all in landing a job. I was going on interviews, and the people that were interviewing me, I was qualified to have their position as well. And some of these were like executive directors. Some of the people that were interviewing me probably felt a little threatened because, again, I'm coming from a place at this time of really knowing what a nonprofit organization is really supposed to be looking like. I had, in addition to, let's cross the street over here, in addition to doing the program, you know what, I'm just gonna stay on this side. In addition to doing the program that I was in, which was an MBA in nonprofit management, I also done a certificate program over at Duke that was focused on nonprofit management, that it also had some grant writing classes in it, pieces in it as well. So I'm doing this, and I'm over here thinking that, man, it's gonna be pretty easy to land a job. And guess what? It wasn't. And I wasn't getting hired at all, even though I was well qualified, even though I had a valuable skill, even though I had valuable knowledge that could really enhance a nonprofit. Doors were being shut in my face. And this went on for several months, okay? So I eventually got to a point where I had to say, you got to do something. And now my back is up against the wall. And it's really interesting, sometimes when your back is up against the wall, that place of desperation, it pulls out some things in you. And that's kind of what happened for me in this situation. Now I was like in a desperate situation, and I had to make some moves. And what I decided was best for me to do this time was for me to, instead of waiting for somebody to give me a job, I decided to give myself a job. I decided to give myself a promotion from looking for a job to being my own boss. And that's where I decided at this time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to launch my business. Now, when I launched my business, it was not originally in the area of doing grant writing solely. Grant writing was an element of it. Never forget, my business was called Walker and Associates, okay? There was no associates yet, but it was Walker and Associates, okay? Because I was looking to work with some associates, okay? So I developed this business, and in developing this business, what happened, I started going after clients. Now, this was funny to me because I'll never forget, I had some really close friends and they knew that I was on the job hunt for months, okay? And nothing was really coming through. So I never forget one day after I made the decision, made up in my mind that I was tired of trying to get a job from somebody and tired of being rejected so much, I decided, you know what? I'm gonna launch this whole grant writing piece and this whole business of nonprofit consulting. And what I did was I put my suit on, and never forget, I went and got me some business cards, and never forget going down to my friend Quentin's place and talking to him and his wife and telling them what I was doing. And I know internally they had to be thinking like, man, this guy's got to be going crazy here. He hasn't been able to get a job for several months, and now, and now he's getting ready to launch a business. Good luck with that one, okay? So I asked them, I never forget, I asked them, I said, hey, do you guys know of any nonprofits that could possibly use my services and to possibly use a grant writer? I'm gonna be doing some grant writing. I'm gonna be doing some general consulting for nonprofits. And they were kind, and since they were friends, gracious enough to give me like 2 to 3 different names. They gave me these 2 to 3 different names, and I got the information and I acted upon those names. Now, I want you to really listen carefully to this, because what I did from there was I got the names and I took action on those names, and I went and had a meeting. I was able to land a meeting with 2 of the people, and one of them was an executive director. And I went and met with this executive director and told her what I was doing. Now, mind you, at this time, I didn't have a lot of traction yet. I didn't have a lot of experience other than the experience that I had in the class, and I did really well with that. And I learned the information, and I knew what it took to be funded. But in terms of my personal experience, in terms of my personal success, I didn't have a lot of traction in that regard. So I was leaning at that time more on the results and the success of my professor, who I partnered some with in that way, and told him, hey, listen, I'm starting this business. Can I use you in a sense as a part of, teaming up with you? And that's exactly what I did. I teamed up with him and was leaning, if you will, some on his success that he had, because he had already raised millions of dollars. Okay, now here's what happened. From there, I continued, and now I'm trying to get business. I go and meet with the referral source that my friends gave me, and she does not give me any business at the time. It wasn't until about, I'd say maybe 3 months later, that I received a message from her, because she had been seeing me some on some of the various platforms that I was on. And one of the areas that she saw me happened to be because I put together a web page on an alliance site. So let me tell you about this. This is really informative. So listen in. I, at the time, didn't have enough money to even get a website. So I had to settle for having a web page, okay? One page. And that one page was a page that ended up being on the nonprofit, I think it was like the time, the Nonprofit Alliance site. They had a membership, and I got the student membership at the time. And that little student membership allowed me to put up a page with my information on it. And lo and behold, I put my information up there, put my little profile photo, I put up what I did, and the system was pretty powerful at the time. And well, I got to tell you what happened. But hold on, stay tuned, be brave, be bold, be brilliant. I'm going to tell you what happened. I think you're gonna find this very informative. All right.